Please welcome, from PayPal, CTO of Blockchain, Crypto, and Digital Currencies, Edwin Aoki, and Senior Vice President and General Manager of Blockchain, Crypto, and Digital Currencies, Jose Fernandez de Ponte.
Hey, Jose. A very warm welcome to our audience. My name is Edwin Aoki, and I'm privileged to be the CTO of PayPal's Blockchain, Cryptocurrency, and Digital Currencies unit, which we call BCDC.
And I am Jose Fernandez da Ponte, Senior Vice President and General Manager of the BCDC business unit.
And we are glad to have you joining us here for a session we're calling Crypto Curious, where Jose and I are going to have a conversation about the world of cryptocurrencies and what it might mean for consumers and merchants like you. So let's jump right in. Jose, it's great to see you actually here in person. It's hard to believe that it's been over a year and a half since we've stopped working day to day in the PayPal offices. And that's been a really challenging and stressful time, I know, for all of us, not the least of which for our merchants in the audience. But in that time, we've started to see a lot of tremendous advances in digital commerce and payments, including the formation of our own team and in the world of crypto more generally. For those in the audience that might be less familiar with digital assets, perhaps you can share a little bit about how our team came to be and what we've created in this space.
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks for that, Edwin. So BCDC, as we said, is the unit inside PayPal that is in charge of leading our work on blockchain, crypto, and digital currencies. We launched the business unit a little less than a year ago, and our first major initiative was to enable our consumers to buy, hold, and sell cryptocurrencies inside their PayPal app in the US. Very soon thereafter, we followed up enabling them to pay using their cryptocurrency as a funding instrument, so that anywhere that PayPal is accepted, a consumer that holds crypto with us can pay using their crypto balance. And most recently, we have continued to evolve on our product by enabling Venmo users with the same capability and doing our first international launch on PayPal UK. Because of who we are and our decades of experience in payments and the combination of our two-sided marketplace, our 400 million consumers, our more than 30 million merchants, we instantly became a force in the space as soon as we entered.
You know, it's kind of hard when we're right in the middle of it to see all of that, but when you put it all together like that, that really feels like a lot. Has anything surprised you along the way about our first year in this space?
I would say two things surprised me. Outside of us, the really fast evolution of the space. As you might remember, we went live almost exactly 1 year ago. And way back then, Bitcoin was at $12,000 when it is at $40,000 today. The market cap of crypto was 400 billion versus almost 2 trillion today. Nobody had heard about decentralized finance, and it's on the cover of The Economist this month. So the market has evolved really, really fast. And on our side, I've been surprised with the level of consumer demand that we have seen. It has been sustained growth since we launched in October, and the consumers who buy, hold, and sell crypto with us increase their engagement with PayPal, and they log into our app at twice their prior rate. We have seen so much interest that actually we have increased our transaction limits, letting people buy up to $100,000 per year in the US. And this level of interest has been a really important factor for us. As you know, we care a lot about being good stewards of the financial wellness of our consumers, and we put a lot of attention and care into the products that we offer them in this space. This has given us an opportunity to see how they evolve and adapt and use crypto. What about you? What do you think? What is that has surprised you in our journey this last year?
You know, one of the things that I've been really proud of is how diverse our audience has been for these products. You know, there's a popular perception of the kind of people that you think about when you think about cryptocurrency, the young, the affluent. But the people that have been getting involved in our platform have been pretty evenly distributed by both age and income. And you know, I just saw a statistic that something like for 3/4 of our users on the PayPal platform, ours was the first experience that they had with crypto, which is really, really great. And it's a credit to the team and their commitment to make this an easy and seamless experience that gives consumers confidence to experiment in this space. You know, I think it's also the same story with merchants. PayPal merchants, as you mentioned, are now able to give their customers the option to use crypto without having to deal with the complexity of regulation or the uncertainty of volatility. And I think that that shows that we're making good on our promise to take that complexity out of commerce, and that accepting cryptocurrency and integrating that into a merchant's e-commerce flows doesn't have to be very difficult. One of my favorite things about this job is telling merchants when they ask me, what do I need to do to enable crypto on my site? I get to say, actually nothing. You probably already have it if you're a PayPal customer. And then logging in and showing them that I can actually use Bitcoin or Ethereum to make a purchase using the integration that they already have.
Is that where you think that we fit into this new crypto ecosystem, as a gateway or as an on-ramp to crypto?
Certainly that's an area that we're good at. Historically, for many consumers, PayPal was their first exposure to a digital wallet. And for a lot of merchants that are either looking to go online for the first time, like many had to during the pandemic, they turn to us to help them with their payment needs or to adapt to this new world of touchless hybrid commerce. And we always want to provide our customers with seamless and easy payment experiences and choices in the way that they pay or get paid. But I think that just scratches the surface. It's still pretty early days for digital currency, and there's a lot more to a payment than just that transaction of moving value. There's going to be a need for, like you said, greater education for consumers and merchants and regulators alike. There's going to be new technologies for combating fraud and new considerations when it comes to things like disputes or customer service. And I think our role with cryptocurrencies and digital currencies more broadly really just continues what we've always done, to build a world-class infrastructure and the tools that let consumers use digital currencies on our platform regardless of how they evolve and develop. And for merchants to be able to manage that complexity and that challenge of newness so that they can participate more broadly in the digital currency space and really focus on what's important in their business. But what about you, Jose? Where do you see PayPal's role in the development of cryptocurrencies, particularly as it relates to our merchant clients?
Well, as you know, we have a ton of experience as a digital payments company. We understand payments. As you just said, a transaction is not just a payment. There is a lot more involved in terms of KYC and disputes and payment orchestration and the payment stack. So we understand that. We also understand how to manage risk and compliance and chargebacks and all those issues that merchants face every day. Our strong relationships across the industry, combined with our experience and the work that we have already put into blockchain, crypto, and digital currencies, gives us a really strong foundation in building new tools and capabilities around new technologies like crypto today. In the end, our mission here is to make sure that we can increase access for consumers to this user case. We can increase utility by letting people do more with their crypto and not just sit on it as an investment asset. And we can help further define the future of commerce, the future of financial inclusion, and facilitate the exchange of value. We want to make digital currencies a tool for commerce and not just to be viewed as an investment asset. But we know that the cryptocurrency market is volatile right now. The value of crypto like Bitcoin can fluctuate quickly. As we said, 1 year ago, it was 12,000. Now it's 40,000, and in the middle, it was 60,000. So it has been volatile. It will continue to be volatile. And we want our customers and merchants to understand the market and make sure that they approach this in a way that where they are well aware of the risks. So along with our products like buy, sell, and hold, we are spending a ton of time providing educational material to our customers so they can learn more about crypto and digital currencies.
One thing I hear a lot from merchants is actually uncertainty around things like compliance and regulatory issues and how crypto might be taxed or sort of regulated down the line. Do you think that we have a role to play in terms of regulation and government oversight? It seems like that's an area that's still evolving fairly quickly.
Yeah. Clear and responsible regulation of the space is of the utmost importance. It's something that we all need. The consumers need that, the crypto players need that, we need that, and the other payment providers and merchants need that as well. So an important part of us being a leader in this space and a priority from the very beginning is engaging and working with governments and regulators to increase access to all forms of digital currency. It is a responsibility that we take very seriously, and is one that we continue to work on every day. We believe that the regulations must evolve to ensure that there is safety and security and consumer protection and merchant protection. And we know that the scrutiny from regulators is very intense right now. That is also why we have been really thoughtful about our approach and how we have been incrementally rolling products into the space. Our goal is to partner with governments and regulators throughout the world to support the development and adoption of digital currencies and other forms of digital money, however they evolve. Not only crypto, central bank digital currencies are an important topic that is being discussed across the world, as you know very well in your role as an advisor to the Bank of England and the Treasury on their CBDC engagement forum. Institutions around the world are starting to look at issuing their own digital currencies at the government level, and we are in a position to help them make CBDCs a reality. We think that that part of the type of public and private cooperation is going to be critical to shape the next generation of cryptocurrencies. So it's very easy to look at the market, and as you were saying, see, hey, crypto is just too volatile today. Why do you think that our audience, why do you think that merchants should be paying attention to what is going on in the crypto space?
Money, of course, has been increasingly digitized, and the evolution of that digitization of pretty much everything is only accelerating. I think that we're at a critical inflection point for mass consumer adoption of digital financial services, and digital currencies are obviously going to be a big part of that. Digital currencies offer inherent advantages in terms of the efficiency and resiliency of the payment system and the ability to move funds more efficiently and at lower cost. And I think that as these develop, we'll start to see many of the third parties and the intermediaries that are in that space, third parties that really sort of act to slow down and make the payments process more expensive, start to fade away. And that, I think, has tremendous opportunities for merchants who've always really disliked the fees and the lack of transparency along the way of how their money and how that value moves across. By supporting new infrastructure built on distributed ledgers and digital currencies, I think that we can give merchants more choice, including choosing rails that are going to be more appropriate for them, more secure, more quick, and increase inclusion, meaning increasing the consumers that can participate in that digital economy, including those that merchants want to be able to reach. Digital currencies can open global commerce as well for a whole segment of the population that hasn't had access to it, and bring that opportunity of commerce and interacting with the broader financial system to millions of consumers worldwide. And that's why we're accelerating our efforts to educate consumers, as you mentioned, and shape and support the role that digital currencies can play in the future of digital commerce, both here and abroad. But what about you? What do you think? Why did you want to take on this job, other than, of course, to be my boss?
Well, that was the reason, Edwin. I don't know what I can add to that. No, seriously, I believe that we are at a moment now in which very seldom you have the opportunity to work on something where you're finding a disruptive technology that is coming of age and is getting ready for production-grade applications. You have pent-up consumer adoption, and the public is really interested in it. And then you have the luxury of being able to do that from a platform like PayPal, where we can really be a force in the space and move the needle in adoption. And this, as you know, continues to be a super fluid environment, which makes it really exciting. You were talking about merchant payments and use cases. It's funny to see how we started with enabling merchants to receive crypto at checkout, which is still a relatively narrow flow, but something that we know that is a delighter for our consumers and really low cost to adopt from our merchants. But very quickly we are seeing that we have now crypto native flows, and we find many of our media clients trying to figure out, hey, we're jumping into this non-fungible token thing. How do you actually buy a non-fungible token? How do you deliver a payment that is crypto native by design? And also we are getting increased demand about merchants who want to take the next step and get into settling directly in cryptocurrencies, especially on stable coins. So we see companies around the world who are seeing the benefit of stable coins for B2B payments and even for receiving payments for their consumers. So again, the rapid pace at which the space is evolving is an added element of excitement for me to be in this role.
What about blockchain more generally, Jose? I think that there's been a lot of talk about crypto in the currency space in terms of exchange of digital value. But how do you think that that's going to play with the broader technology that sits underneath that?
Well, as you know, we are a commerce and payments company, and we care about commerce and payments. And there are some very good use cases of blockchains for commerce and payments. And we know that we can do more than just making payments more efficient and accessible. We believe that we are in a position where we can help the ecosystem to work towards making money more intelligent. What does it mean that we're making money more intelligent? For instance, with central bank digital currencies, governments can speed money to consumers in a time of need, as we saw in the pandemic very recently, or during a natural disaster. and money directly deposited into accounts and digital wallets can be made available immediately, as opposed to carrying millions of checks and putting them on the mail with the cost and time lapse that involves. Additionally, blockchains, as you know, offer the ability to create smart contracts that make money programmable. That offers value-added services that can be tied to payments for use cases like escrow management or payments that are held until some conditions are met and only disbursed when that has happened. There are also use cases that we're exploring around charitable giving, where the money can be set up to spend only on certain necessary items, or where charities can provide comfort to donors that their donations are being traced and directed to the right cause. With programmable money, we can see a whole new set of applications and inventions that can power the global economy. There are use cases that we are exploring because we know that we will have a role in shaping how our customers access those capabilities.
Yeah, that's really inspiring, I think, and one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this area. And I think that in addition to what you were talking about, I'm really excited about this idea around being able to use blockchain anywhere where you need to syndicate trust. And as you know, one of the things that I always gravitate back to is digital ID. Because identity is such a big part of many applications, including payments. And accessing my payment accounts or being able to have trust with a merchant means that I need to be able to identify myself. And many consumers worldwide just don't have access to a way to do that digitally. And even when they do, IDs today don't really protect my data. If I go to a bar in the US, when we were actually able to go to bars in the US, I might need to show my driver's license to the doorman to get in and show proof of my age. But that driver's license has all sorts of other information that doorman doesn't need. My home address, my weight, my birth date, an ID number. I don't necessarily want to share that with him or her. But using a distributed ledger like blockchain with validated identity assertions, I could go and securely and verifiably prove that I'm of age without having to give up that other personal identification. And when there's shared trust, I can invite others like a college or a landlord to be able to add additional information to that profile that I can then selectively share and securely disclose to the people that I consent to have it, like an employer or a future landlord. And I think that you put that all together with the work that we're doing in digital commerce and payments, it moves us closer to that ideal where all of us can take charge of how our own information gets used and shared. And I think that that really allows us to take that trust that we've had in the digital payment space and really broaden that across the internet in much the same way that earlier technologies syndicated data and communications between people. And I think that those will have profound implications on the way that we think about the interactions that consumers and merchants have and that we have with those audiences. And I think that we'll start to see those start to get applied in things like KYC, as you mentioned. Today those rules are very complicated, but we have the ability to make them both more secure and less complex, so we can reduce fraud while increasing authorization rates.
I love the identity use cases. As we have discussed, when you ask the founding fathers of the internet, hey, what would you do, what would you improve if you were able to have a second run at it? The answer that comes recurrently is payments and identity. So it's really, really exciting. So when are we getting that?
I guess I set myself up for that. I will have to get back to you because, as you know, our roadmap is pretty full with some exciting things.
It is indeed full. It is indeed full. And of course, we are only one part of the PayPal organization. And our recent announcement at the enterprise level of new functionality in our digital wallet include many, many exciting features. This is an important part of what we do as a payment company. We ensure that consumers can pay any way they want to pay, and the merchants can receive those payments any way they want to receive it. As we think about our roadmap for crypto for the future, we have a ton on deck. So one of the things that we have announced is that we are working to enable third-party transfers, which is the ability of consumers to bring crypto they hold in other wallets into PayPal and then use it in a number of ways, but also to get the crypto they have stored at PayPal and use it to send it to other wallets or to merchants who decide that they're ready to accept settlement directly on crypto. So that will be live soon. We will continue to roll out our product to new geographies. So we are live now in the US and the UK, and we will continue to roll it out in new markets where we have the combination of strong PayPal brand awareness, clarity on the regulation, as we discussed, and a very relevant interest and demand of crypto from consumers. We will also listen to our consumers who are requesting, hey, we see these 4 crypto coins in PayPal today. When can I buy more? When are you adding to the list of cryptocurrencies? So we are looking at enabling new cryptocurrencies and tokens in the app that we can support beyond the initial set that we have just made available. And we have discussed the idea of a super app, an app that combines more than just payments, but also a digital home for cryptocurrencies or NFT tokens and non-fungible tokens, because we hear many of our, especially our media clients, saying, hey, I'm ready to jump into this space of collectibles and digital art. But where is the mainstream wallet where our users will be able to store those NFTs? And we want to be ready for that as well. Those are all digital assets, just beyond money. There are things with value, and we want to provide a place where consumers can access those digital assets conveniently and security and under a brand that they know and trust. That said, as you can see, our roadmap is really, really full for the months ahead, and we plan to continue our leadership role in the industry. So stay tuned.
Sounds like a lot, and sounds like we're going to be pretty busy for a while.
Will.
So thank you so much to all of you for joining us. We hope that you've enjoyed a little bit of a look inside of cryptocurrency at PayPal, and we look forward to working with all of you as we bring all these products to life.